Sunday, April 30th, 2023, off the coast of Malacca, Malaysia, on the mystic island of Pulau Besar. We took a kind of a speedboat, private boat, from a guy just outside of Malacca to this place. And it's a special small island that we just walked around this afternoon because there's a tomb here of the Sheikh Ismail, who supposedly, according to lore, came from Baghdad centuries ago, and he converted the first Sultan of Malacca. So he brought Islam to the area after deciding he needed to come here to spread the word while he was on a pilgrimage to Medina. And so we went to his tomb, which was pretty cool, and we found another tomb. And what's weird is when we approached either of them, the wind started picking up, and the lightning started flashing, and the thunder started roaring. And now that we're winding down our afternoon here, now the wind and the rain is really starting to pick up.
Yeah, now the rainstorm is actually moving in. It's been hanging out in the distance, so I just had to get out my umbrella, and we're hanging out under this tree, somewhat covered from the rain, and then I also have an umbrella open under the tree. So it makes this all the more adventurous today.
Now, Shamar's been a little timid as we've gone around, but I'm fascinated by this place because there's this heavy aura of haunted, kind of spooky vibrations from all of these abandoned resorts and golf courses. There's all these overgrown bushes and resorts where just like windows are missing, and there's moss and vines growing up everywhere, and there's no one around at all. There's people wearing their traditional Muslim stuff where they dropped us off kind of close to the tomb, but when we went all the way around, not hopping fences, but going through some very overgrown trails and looking at some signs that were written in Malay that we translated, and we're like, oh, it says
forbidden, keep out, and there's a picture of a guy with a gun. I was just like, what?
Yeah. But one of the old dudes came out of, he waved at me from a window of one of those abandoned giant hotels, and he was like, welcome! And I was like, hello! And waved my hand at him, gave my big, stupidly happy Western smile, which gets me out of any tense moments over and over again. So it worked, and we got to keep going.
Yeah. I gotta say, I was a little freaked out because before we came here, we were reading about this island, and there's quite a few ghost stories and people having sightings of ghosts or strange creatures, I guess we might say. I don't remember the name of them.
Yeah, they're basically leprechauns. They're spirit creatures that are, I believe, short, and some of them are very beautiful, and they protect the forests. It's a leftover spiritual tradition from the pre-Islamic days when more people believed in nature spirits and various supernatural entities that protect certain areas. And this island is supposedly a hotspot for a lot of them, and there's been sightings.
Yeah, so before we got here, I was already a little bit concerned, and then when we stepped on the island and we started walking around the one side of it, we were pretty much the only people, and the first thing we saw were these abandoned resorts. So right away, the haunted feeling was just kind of reverberating around, and as we continued around the island, it intensified. So
these aren't just abandoned resorts surrounded by like a kind of overgrown field with a fence around it. It's more like there is no fence. There's a few signs. Nothing's really gated off, and there's jungle everywhere.
yeah.
Like giant, jungly, viney not clumps of trees, but like a big green mass overpowering the buildings.
Yeah, so the one resort we eventually got to was on the other side of the island, maybe 2 hours of walking to get there. And it was really beautiful, or you could tell at one point it had been really beautiful. It had this colonial architecture, and it was kind of built up on a hill overlooking the palm trees and the water. And then out in the distance, you could see Malacca far across the water. But it was so run down, and there were vines growing everywhere, and the glass windows were broken, and the shutters were hanging askew. And it just had this very eerie sort of feeling. But you could tell there were a few people that lived in this huge resort, and I think they were the groundskeepers. So, like, there was some inhabitants, but it was maybe like 2 or 3 people. But very eerie. And then being in a country that I'm not really familiar with, on an island where, like, we came here via a boat, a private boat, where the guy's not even here, so we're kind of like stranded until he comes back for us. So I was kind of freaking out, and then the wind was blowing and howling and getting stronger, and a storm is moving in, and the trees are waving. So
as
it
we
just
entered
added
the
to this.
tomb area,
Yeah.
it was like at that exact moment when the wind started, like I was so hot and being bitten by bugs, and these evil insects were like.
Oh yeah, there's these insects. on
Shamar
this
thought it
island.
was the electricity from these nasty electric wires.
Towers coming from the
Yeah.
mainlands.
Yeah, there's
it
no
has
underground electric cable. They've got like
these.
electric pole, like utility poles from the mainland. And they're
Yeah, going
big.
through the ocean. Yeah,
So
the
the transmission lines. Yeah.
It sounded like almost like this electrical sound, but like super loud and super intense. But actually, it was bugs. So that was the other thing that added to this eerie sensation. We got onto the island. It was like these abandoned resorts, and then these bugs that had this very electrical sound. And it must have been going on for an hour. And we had said, or Keith had said, that it was almost was like the sound of a headache. And that's so true. If a headache had a sound, this would be it.
We went and got foot reflexology from this place in the Chinese area of Malacca yesterday, and once we were done with our hour-long like foot shoulder thing, reflexology, which was brutal. It was an hour of pain,
Yeah.
which was awesome. And as soon as they spit us out, it was just so hot, and we ate food so late, and what we did eat was kind of a dud as far as meals go. So dehydrated in the heat, and I was so loopy, this evil headache just started creeping up and creeping up. First it was warm, then it was tension, then it became this like nasty pain, like covering the sides of my head just above my ears, and I've been fighting it, taking various aspirin, and it started creeping back as soon as we got to the island, and those bugs were in perfect sync with my headache. I don't know how to describe it.
They sounded like a headache.
Like, it would have been worse if they were like pulsing, doing some kind of like throbbing, like meep, meep, meep. But it was this constant.
Oh, it was horrible.
So yeah, so you can go under the trees where it'd be a little cooler. You'd be protected from the sun, but the noise of the bugs is louder. Or you can walk out into the abandoned golf courses, who someone is kind of maintaining, because the grass was short, and there would be sun, but there would be no bugs. So we went around and we found this weird little Hindu shrine. There was no like carving or anything, but there's something that I couldn't translate on my map way off the trail on the other side of the island from the tomb. So it's like the Hindus have their own competing shrine here. I don't know what it's for, but there's a big rock under this giant boulder by the sea with all these burnt out sticks of incense and offerings and little like flower petals all over the place. And there's a pack of incense kind of away from the shrine that was all written in Hindu script. I don't know, Hindi or Sanskrit or something. Maybe Tamil, I can't remember. But yeah, so we did the Hindu thing and went there, and we did the tombs. And then there's apparently this mystical well that, according to legend, if the tide is in, it's fresh water. If the tide is out, it's salt water, or maybe it's vice versa. But there's these dudes hanging out, like, what is it, 6 of them?
Yeah.
These 6 Indian dudes all have their shirts off, and they're all, like, yucking it up around this well.
Like in their underwear and like little saris.
Underwear and stuff, and just dunking their heads, pouring their heads with this mystical well water over and over again.
Yeah, they were having a blast. They were just laughing, and then they'd throw water on the other guy, and they'd all laugh again.
It reminded me of American men with beers standing around a barbecue.
Oh, yeah.
Like all leaning in. Oh, flip that one. Did you see the game last night? Well, and there's one woman who's sitting like 50 feet away on the beach, looking at Instagram on her phone, completely bored.
But the thing is, okay, every adventure needs some comedic relief. So honestly, at this point, I actually was pretty scared because this storm was moving in, and I was like, oh my gosh, where's our boat guy? We got to get back to the jetty, and I was freaking out. And but then we came across this group of guys just laughing and having so much fun, and it's exactly what I needed. It was perfect medicine. Because you can't be scared when people are having so much fun. It just completely, it takes away all the scary vibes.
And what happened?
Oh, yeah. So then, well, okay. So there was another tomb we missed, so we had to circle back around. But on the way back, we passed these guys 2 times. And on the second time we passed them, Keith just kind of like veered to the right, and he went and joined the guys and got them to dunk a bucket of well water on his head, and they loved it. Of course, they were all cracking up.
Oh, they loved it.
So Keith got some of this fresh well water dumped on his head.
And it was fresh water, not salt water.
Yeah, it was fresh water. It was right there by the ocean.
Just
and the palm
weird.
trees.
Like it's almost right on the beach, like level with the salt.
How could that be? How could there be fresh water that close?
It's a mystical aquifer they got here.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So you got the holy water.
I got the holy water on my head, and now I got the storm rain water on my head again.
Oh yeah, we're somewhat under the umbrella.
Yeah.
Has our boat guy reached out to us yet?
Nope.
Okay, I hope he doesn't strand us here.
40 minutes. So yeah.
So the light is getting a little bit dimmer, so it is getting darker, and we're still on the island. Most everybody takes the ferry out here, and the last ferry already went back at about 5:30. So
that was the public ferry.
That was the public ferry. So Keith and I are out here along with one other guy who took this private boat with us, and then there's some people on the island who are staying overnight in little tents. And that's kind of about it. So it's not very busy right now.
There's like a little Muslim center where you have to go in wearing long pants, which I don't have, and cover your head. And I don't know if they have like a little restaurant in there. I think it's more than just a mosque. But out in front they have a campground. So there's a lot of people, not a lot, a couple dozen people in tents.
Yeah.
Hopefully not getting too wet along the beach. We're hanging out at the edge of an abandoned resort, yet another one.
I don't see any Westerners, though.
I've read reports like, they keep trying to open resorts on this island, but then they always end up closing like 6 months later.
It's just too spooky here. Like, who would want to stay? It's a little spooky.
I've heard that some people see ghosts when they spend the night.
Yeah, there's got to be something. It's just spooky.
I originally was determined to spend the night here, and but the internet hasn't really been updated since pre-COVID, so we decided to come here, scattered out. All the resorts are closed down, and so no hope of spending the night here unless our guy flakes on us
and leaves us stranded. We'll go join the
takes our money and left, and maybe we'll, I don't know, we could sleep in one of these abandoned resorts. That'd be so spooky.
I would just go talk.
That'd be awesome.
I would just go talk to some of these people near the tents and see what they had to say. I'm sure they could find us a place to sleep.
Someone just whistle at us.
Oh, maybe we should go see. Check your
No,
messages.
there's no.
Are you sure it won't pop up?
Oh, it will pop up, but nothing's
really?
popped up.
Okay. We're all good.
Yeah, keep going.
I'm just freaking out because I don't want the boat guy to strand us.
No.
I know. That's been me the whole time around the island.
Yep.
Freaking out and keep being like, it's fine. There's nothing wrong.
No, there's like almost no one here. And this is a devout, like, pilgrimage site. There's people filled with spirituality coming here. There aren't like dangerous, like, inbred torture families. lurking about with guns and like.
Well, why did they have that sign though with the gun? That was a little bit
It's
scary.
their version of a no trespassing
I
sign.
guess it is. Yeah.
Okay, that's a bird whistling at us, not a person.
Oh, okay.
Because I heard a couple more.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, cool. I'm still waiting for spirits. Come on, spirits. I mean, we got a pretty good show at the tombs when the lightning and thunder and winds started.
Oh, wind going
like,
through the leaves. Yeah.
Immediately came in when we walked on the premises. Like, whoa. But I was hoping to see some, like, 4-foot tall, like, jungle spirits. That'd be cool.
Maybe they're watching us, so we just don't know.
All right. So, do we have anything to say about Malacca, or shall we save that for another time?
Maybe we'll save it for another time. Let's just make this our little island episode. What do you think?
Yeah, it sounds
Is
good.
that good? Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So this has been Sunday, April 30th, 2023, off the coast of Malacca, Malaysia, on the island of Pulau Besar.
During a rainstorm.
During a rainstorm in this mystical tropical island of tombs and spirits. All right. See you
Until
next time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.